Welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with hosts and other viewers in real time, and remember to create a safe viewing experience by following our community double standards. That's right. We are here. We're notifying viewers that are going live. Thank you so much for that. We are on YouTube. Bobcat, what's up? P Doubles, Nini Happy, Lila Knight, Red Fox Inc., Old Man Barrington, Igville. I love it. New Horizon. Who remembers Red Fox, man? You're dating yourself with that one. That's awesome. Red Fox was so fucking funny. We could not wait to get to listen to those dirty records they used to make. Howdy, unknown fake 312. My guy, Mr. Atheist. Yes, what's up, boy? Good to see you, man. Black L4. I can't read that, buddy. Thanks for being here, everybody. Jay Coleman. Bobcat sends likes. Thanks, buddy. I'm at 7 o'clock. That's what's up, Mr. Atheist. I'm coming. I'm coming, Elizabeth. I used to be able to do a better impression. I think my voice is getting a little. Here's the big one. You're talking Sanford and Son, right? But Red Fox used to do stand-up that was dirty body, in nightclubs and stuff, and he would make records. And if you could get a hold of those records, they were really something else. They were kind of, almost too racy for you to have in the house. Some people would have parties and listen to them. Too bad about Red Fox. We lost him too soon too. He was funny as fucking hell. This will be definitely better than the evangelists clogging my feed. All right, Meyer Killian. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you. I hope you. Yeah, Buddy Hackett was filthy too. People don't know. They remember Buddy Hackett from like the Tonight Show and shit like that, and he seemed so. But yeah, his stand-up was dirty. Thanks, Mr. Atheist. I love doing the stream with Dan Barker. He's a great guy. You can reach out to him anytime, and he's always accommodating. He's always in a good mood. He's always got time for all of the people that love him so much. And it's really heartening to see, there's such a big name in atheism be so accessible to the people. So yeah, that was great. And hopefully we could do that again sometime. Him and Doug Clark and the Hot Nuts. I don't know Doug Clark and the Hot Nuts. I don't know what that is, man. That's funny. Versions of the truth. Hippo VTEX. Are we going to discuss separation of church and state? We have too much religious influence in government. Yeah, we certainly can. It's whatever you want to bring. The Damianator says. And thanks for being here, Damianator. All aboard! Welcome to the new 7 o'clock hour of Atheist Underground on Wednesday Night Live. I'm going to do it at 7 and for the foreseeable. It's better for me. I was doing it at 8 o'clock. This is Central Time. I was doing it at 8 o'clock because producer Jay joined me, but he hasn't been able to do that lately. So I'm like, it's easier for me to do it at 7 and then I don't have to be up so damn late. But yeah, Damianator, we can discuss separation of church and state. We generally do. And I will get back to that. Would you rather be able to talk with the animals or speak all foreign languages? That's a really good one, man. That's a really good one. Probably talk with the animals, because I feel I can learn all the languages on my own, and I've learned a few, and I've learned a couple, and I know parts of some. I think I'd take animals in that case. That's a really cool question. Speaking of church and state separation, though, I read with disdain on Reddit someone who complained that their kid is in 6th grade at a public school, and they're teaching history in a history class. They're teaching Abraham, the story of Abraham from the Bible, as though it were history. And I have no problem with kids in 6th grade learning comparative religion, but that's not what this is. This is Christianity being taught as world history in a 6th grade class. And it's an absolute violation of the separation of church and state. It is the government and a representative of the government, in this case, a public school teacher, proselytizing to children. And children will look up to that teacher as an authority figure, and they will believe it. Yeah, not quite. I didn't quite shave atheist in South Dakota. Thanks for being here, my buddy. Yeah, I feel like animals have more to say, don't you? Thanks, helicopter. Helicopter. Animals are probably more interesting to learn what animals have to say. I feel people kind of regurgitate the same shit all over the place. But yeah, I would take animals there. No, the government was never meant to be involved with church. Of course not in America. I mean, in the U.S., that's absolutely true, and it's become conflated now. It's really they're interwoven in a disgusting way. But anyway, if you have a problem like that, don't hesitate to fight it. I fought it in my public school when my kids were there, and it worked. I got the teacher to stop posting Bible verses on the wall, basically. But here we got a 6th grader. They said they were in the South, but they didn't say the state. And not surprising, because if you're not paying attention, or if you don't care, if you're one of these parents who, it happened to them, or they believe that it's the right way, they're not going to complain. But if you understand that it's wrong, you have to complain. And your email is intake@ffrf.org. Intake@ffrf.org. Detail it as much as you can. Pictures, dates. Detail like you were writing down the incidences of a stalker, or for a divorce or anything. If you have to go to court, write that shit down so that they can really take a look at it, because they will write a letter and it will work. But yeah, don't hesitate to fight that. You can't let it go, because it will continue to do it. And most parents either don't give a shit, aren't paying attention, or are right on board with it and think it's okay and really wish that it was everywhere. Are my kids atheist? My son is absolutely an atheist. My younger daughter, Waffles, I think she wants to be popular, and her social life is the most important thing to her. She's got a lot of friends, obviously, in North Carolina who are Christian, and so uh, my two younger kids, I didn't raise them atheist. I just didn't talk about God, and figured I'd let's see how long it would take them to be indoctrinated by someone else. And sure enough, it was the public school that did it and started me on this road of activism. So my younger daughter, she's worried in a Pascal's wager kind of way. Well, what if it's wrong? And I better believe what all my friends believe, or I might go to hell. She doesn't want. She's afraid of hell already. Because the kids have all told her that that's what happens to you if you don't believe. So my oldest daughter has, I think, a vague spiritual concept of God, of what God is. She's not a Christian. She's not dogmatic. She doesn't believe any of the man-made religions. But I think she's at 24. I think she's at that age where she's still toying with the metaphysical in her mind, and their spiritual leanings of our exciting brains that can let us consider these kind of things. So I couldn't call her an atheist, probably, but none of them are none of them are what I would call religious either. Um, yeah, let's keep the Bible out of history. You got fired for being an atheist. You might have told me that before, Damien. That's brutal. If you've got cause, you can take that also to FFRF, and probably the ACLU might help you too with that kind of shit. You can't, unless you're trying to get a job at a church where where they need to hire people who are on board with their bullshit. You can't really be asked about your religion when it comes to getting a job. I think the history curriculum is called the World Story and something, and it mixes history slash Bible. Yeah, it's silly. Jesse Ventura for president. Is he still on the political scene? Jesse Ventura. Biddy Buddha, what's up, my girl? I was thinking about you today. Hadn't heard from you in a long time. I hadn't seen any. I don't see a lot of my people on. I don't know what's going on with my feed. When I do go to look at my feed, which is not a lot, but I'll look at my followers and scroll up and see who's got a video. It's like the people that I expect to see all the time just aren't there anymore. And then I go to their channel and I see that they're still posting vids, but TikTok's not funneling them to me, and I don't know why. But who the hell knows what TikTok does with that shit? I just it freaks me out. Hey, Biddy, and thanks for the pumpkins, man. Happy Halloween, everybody. Celebrate Halloween in all its devilish glory, man. And fuck the Christians who would bash Halloween and turn it into Jesus Ween or Holy Ween or whatever the fuck they're trying to do to take the actual fun out of a holiday. The Mad Hatter is with us. What's up, dude? You missed the goatee. It's here. It's here. I just shaved it. I just put it on the lowest setting of the trimmer. It'll be 2 days. It'll be back, and you'll be able to see it again. So I actually like screwed it up. I went to just trim it, and I gouged it. And then you're like, oh fuck, man. And then you got no choice. You got to take it all down to the same level. But don't worry, the goatees. It's actually still here. It's just very, very short right now. See those little whiskers there? Keep the Satan in Halloween. Absolutely, double him up. Keep 3 or 4 or 5 Satans in Halloween. Please say hello, Phoebe. Hello, Phoebe. What's up with Phoebe? I knew a girl when I was growing up named Phoebe Ebe. I shit you not, her last name was Oebe, and her parents named her Phoebe. Is that fucked up or what? Parents do crazy shit to kids with their names. I also knew a girl. Her last name was Paradise, and her parents named her Landa. Yeah, Land of Paradise. At least that one's sort of clever. She was cute too. I think about those names once in a while. That's crazy. He's not real, so no. He has all of. I'm missing some comments already. You guys are firing with the comments already today. Let me scroll back here and see what I missed. I don't know if my admins are on here. If you do, if I catch you preaching on the train, you get a conductor's whistle and you get booted off the train. Is Jesse Ventura awesome? I don't know. Some of these atheists aren't any better. If they're like, you know, right wing weirdos. I'm not commenting on Jesse Ventura. I don't really remember, and I'm not from Minnesota, so I don't know if he had. Did people have great times in Minnesota under Jesse Ventura? He cracked me up in a couple of those movies he did. Right? Wasn't he in Predator, the original Predator? I want to say he was in with Arnold. Uh, uh, uh. Happy All Hallows Eve, indeed, everyone. Coming up is Thanksgiving. Who doesn't? You from Minnesota, Biddy Boot? I didn't know that. It wasn't far for you, right, to move to Canada. Just ran across the border. J Bone Scribes, thanks um, for the likes. Um, Hub, what's up, man? Are you feeling better? I don't. We don't hear from much from you, man. And I'm a little bummed about the Discord. I got to be honest with you. I kind of liked that having that going, and I liked. I wasn't keeping up with it real good, but I like checking in on it. So let me think about that. If I don't know if the Danish dumpling doesn't appear to be on yet. Maybe she fell asleep. It's awfully late in Denmark, and I don't see my guy uh, Kevin Rubik's. So if I can figure this out, I will. I'm not very good at this, Hub, but I don't mind making you a moderator for times like these. So far, not too many preachers on board tonight, man. Uh, Celebrating that Shory month. What's Shory month? What's that mean? Turnip 2020. Who's turnip? If Jesus came back, don't you think that a cross would be the last thing he'd want to say? Yeah, that's a funny one, right, man? Would Jesus get triggered and have PTSD and go run screaming for the border when he saw all the crosses in the U.S., especially some of these like giant ass, huge ones? He's like, oh man, I don't want to go there, man. Oh, you are there. All right, there's my girl, non crazy, crazy cat lady. Thanks for the rose, baby. Here's a rose back at you. Um, uh, Sin-free atheist, my guy. ¿Cómo está, amigo? Sin-free atheist is here. What's up, dude? Uh, I got a few things to talk about. Um, I posted a video hammering Islam. It's in response to a comment, and I was careful to thank the commenter because someone told me that they can't punish you if you thank the commenter when you're responding to a comment. I don't know if that's true or not, but this asshole tries to say that that Aisha, the 9-year-old that Muhammad married, was a woman because she had her first period, right? She began her menstrual cycle, and therefore was a grown ass woman. Which I'm not. Back in the day, that may have been the law in countries. Was that adulthood begins for women when they start menstruating. That's not out of the realm of possibility in the ancient world. Um, but he's an arrogant dude, and he comes on once in a while. He's like this, and so he's like, we don't have any problem with that. The fact that the prophet married a post pubescent woman with her father's consent. Well, the Quran says that women can choose their own spouse, right? It says that in the Quran. So why did she need her father's consent? It's obvious bullshit. These are the indoctrinees will go to great lengths to excuse the behavior of the cult leader. It's really a condition of being, uh, it goes hand in hand with being a religion. Really does. They don't want to ever leave that. They're indoctrinated. They can't, so they'll come up with any kind of excuse. And we see it with Trump, right? He can get away with anything, do anything he wants, and the people who follow his cult will either gloss it over, not look at it, or come up with some reason that it's not that it's not real. So we'll see how long that video stays up before it gets fucking taken down. I really battled with it. I looked at it afterwards. I'm like, this is going to get taken down for hate speech, even though it's really not. But we'll see. I have a feeling that one might not last. Matt Hatter says, speaking of pie, my pumpkins grew. We got two good ones, though. That's all right. That's cool, man. You did good, man. You got two pumpkins. Corky Lorenz asks, have you always been atheist? No, I was raised in a congregational church in New England, and I was drinking the Kool-Aid until I was 16 or 17. Of course, we were born atheists. technically. You're newly deconstructing your faith. All right. I love that term deconstructing now. Back in the day, I was just like, I left. I quit. I left the religion. I quit. Now it's like deconstructing. Some makes it sound like some more complicated process, which is awesome. As long as you do it, I don't care what you call it, my friend. But welcome. You are welcome here. Ask me anything. Um, and if we can be of any help, then we're grateful for the opportunity to do that. Is it just pranks and stuff, or do we get set something on fire? What are you talking about, Bobcat? Recovering Catholic? You're a Catholic from Italy? You're a Roman Catholic? I love it. I've never seen it spelled like that. That's cool. It's beginning to look a lot like syphilis. Thanks, progressive persona from PA. Progressive person from PA, not persona. All things are possible in Christ. There it goes, Kid of Fittich. No preaching on the train. All things are possible. Uh, hey man, good to see you. My new struggle is having a friend who is Mormon. Wow, are they hardcore? That's hard to have friends who are hardcore religious. I get it when we got buddies who are like, lapsed Catholics. They don't want to let go of the God faith, but it's not forefront of their mind. I have trouble. Thanks, Kid Fittich, for being here. Bye. All things are possible with my moderators, including you getting your ass kicked off the fucking train. Squeeze is newly reconstructing his atheism. Nice, nice. The building blocks, like putting that back together like a Jenga tower, right? All things are possible with a winning Powerball ticket. There's a better idea, man. Who could do something with a winning Powerball ticket? That would be way, way, way better. Who watched Midnight Mass? That's on my list. I binged Midnight Mass this week in a couple and 3 nights, maybe 4 nights, and I enjoyed it. I would give it maybe a 7, 7.5. It was pretty entertaining. It wasn't really great. It had a lot of holes in the story, and I kept thinking to myself, "This is a Stephen King book." And I don't read Stephen King. I've read back in the day in college. I read a few of his books, but it's like, all right, I don't really need to go back there. People love Stephen King. He's great at what he does, and I get it. But I don't need to read any more of that. I don't think. But when I'm watching this movie or this mini series, limited series they call it because it's just a 1 season thing and it's done, kind of like a long movie. And I have to recommend it, Midnight Mass on Netflix, because there's a fantastic scene in it where the Muslim sheriff and a more progressive person in a very, very small town sit in a meeting where they they have to complain about religion being taught in the public school, and it's a long scene that really really shows how the teachers in a public school situation will take advantage of their opportunity to proselytize to your kids. And the characters in the scene who were opposed to this keep on bringing, it's like, this is a public school, this is inappropriate, and they really go into a little bit about how this is inappropriate in a separation of church and state and unconstitutional to teach kids religion in the context of a public school like that, teach one religion as though it were the truth, instead of, not, we're not talking about a comparative religion class. And in the end, the church lady who is in charge of the meeting just uses her might as a member of the majority to beat down these legitimate complaints about separation of church and state violations in the public school. But I thought that was really rare to see on TV, and I recommend the series. Really, it's fairly entertaining. It's basically a vampire story that this guy wrote, but the vampires are is spun. The vampire monster that makes people vampires is spun as an angel of God, and they never get around to talking about whether it really is an angel of God or whether this is the guy's perception of it. And he's just like a priest, so he's he's um, kind of uh, spinning it in the way that makes it a positive thing. And it turns out, of course, it's just basically a horror story. Pretty well shot, pretty well. The cinematography's nice, heavy on monologues, which I don't know if you love, but they weren't that horrible. So um, go ahead and watch Midnight Mass if you haven't. It was pretty interesting. I'm glad to see vampires coming back. Twilight ruined them for a while. Twilight fucked vampires up, didn't they? "Oh, I can't go in the sun because I twinkle and I'll look too pretty and everyone will know." I was like, really? This is really where we've gone with vampires? I did a girl in a church. She screamed, "Oh my God," and we weren't struck down. So God doesn't exist. You did a girl in, nice. I made out with a girl on the altar once when I was 17. That's when I knew it was pretty much done for me. I worked at a religious camp the summer I turned 17. And it was a summer job, and that was really all that mattered to me. My parents were very proud, or my mom was very proud that I went and worked at a Christian camp up in New Hampshire. And I couldn't fucking do any of the religious stuff. I worked in the kitchen. I wasn't like a counselor. I was just a grunt. And we were so tired that on Sunday there was no way I was getting up and going to church, you know. And of course, the pastor of the church was at the door greeting people as they came in. Um, and you know, I was 17. It didn't matter to me, and I went maybe twice all year. He's like keeping track of who came and who didn't. I didn't even get invited back. But I do remember one awesome night making out. Me and a buddy of mine made out with our girlfriends all night. Halloween question: who's your favorite Dracula actor? I still got to go with Frank Langella. We talked about this on an earlier live. I want to say Frank Langella from uh, the. I'm not sure if it's just called Dracula now. I don't remember. Donald Pleasance played Van Helsing, and um, it's based on a Broadway musical. I want to not musical, but a Broadway play. I want to say, and this is one I grew up with, and it's pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, uh, look it up and and watch it. You can probably find it on Amazon or on. Dude, World Dawa says, "Did you join F Dawa?" I did not. You guys got to plan better for me. I can't. If you just send a link at the last minute, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm just too busy. I would still do that though. Please, if you give me some time, like 2 or 3 days to plan ahead, I will still do that. Christians fights protector system says Christians fight so much and are rude, but Mormons are creepy, positive, and confusing. Yeah. Why would it be confusing? The whole fucking Jesus came to North America thing. Why would that be confusing? That's one way to try and meet Jesus, I guess. What made fallout with Christianity? You talking about me? It was the insistence that John Lennon was going to hell, even though he was a peace-loving atheist, and really uh, spent the last years of his life um, donating bulletproof vests to the police department in New York City, and singing anti-war songs and peace and love and all that crap. And and then he got shot, and then this preachers came to my church, and they're like, "Yeah, well, he's in hell." I was like, you know what? I'm done with you assholes. This is stupid. We broke into a church as teens, stole holy water to have his bong water. Wow, holy bongs, man. That's awesome, dude. I'm not condoning stealing holy water from the church, but if you had some holy water in your possession and you put it in a bong and you smoke some weed through the holy water, I absolutely condone that. You're old school. You like Bela Lugosi. Yeah, Nosferatu with Klaus Kinski. There's a it's not really Dracula, but vampire, I think, right? That's crazy shit. But yeah, you can't. I don't think there's been any really good new ones. I didn't love the Gary Oldman Dracula. Was that Coppola? Who did that movie with it? It left me a little bit cold. I couldn't even really get into it. Um, I feel like the guy who played Pinhead in Hellraiser would be a good Dracula. Yeah, maybe. uh, there's an elf. No, see, tomorrow's no good for me, buddy. I'm going to North Carolina at the end of the day tomorrow, so that's no good. But like next week, if we set it up for next week or something, I could do that. I wouldn't mind being on there. You like the Gary Oldman Dracula movie? I just didn't. I thought the movie. He's a great actor. Gary Oldman, one of the best actors in the world. He's fucking great. But the movie, I was like, ah, this sucks. What's up from Pittsburgh? Steel City, my friend. What's going on with the Steelers this year? Ben Roethlisberger still playing football, man, or is he like broken finally? I think he's about done, isn't he? What's good? Jiu-jitsu is life. What's good with you, my friend? I am on YouTube. No one's bothered to join yet, but no one's used to me being on at 7 o'clock. So I appreciate all of you coming on board. It's a lot easier on TikTok because everybody's just always on it, and there's always a bunch of followers who are able to see that you're on live, so it's easier. But if the handful of people on YouTube aren't expecting it, then I guess I can't really expect to see them there. Which one of the four horsemen do you connect with the most? Hitchens. Soccer is the real football. Yeah, well, that's true. Can't argue with that. Why did they name American football football? It was just dumb, right? Why didn't they call it like oblong ball or like oddly shaped pigskin gridiron ball? I don't know. Just calling it football doesn't make a fucking lick of sense, especially nowadays when it's all passing and it was like barely. I don't know, but that was just what do you expect from people at West Point though? Um, How do we prevent the Bible being taught as history to kids in private Christian schools? You can't. Sadly, we need to a sea change in society. That's Jedediah. What's up, my friend? Jedediah asking. Um, was it 92 that movie came out already? I'm jumping back and forth here. Yeah, you can't. I mean, private schools exist so that they can do what they want like that. That's we need a society that doesn't want to send their kids to places where they get lied to about the nature of their existence, about the nature of the planet and the universe, and deny science. You're not going to stop that. You need to vote politicians out who are in favor of voucher systems. You need to march with your feet. Um, and vote and make sure that you are voting against the voucher systems that are have become ubiquitous. Every state has at least an attempt at voucher systems, if not an outright system that gets bigger and bigger. Wisconsin's has been expanded, and of course, there's so these poor kids in Milwaukee can go to a better school. Bullshit. It's so that Christian parents can use tax money to send their kids to Christian school. And there's nothing that we can do to stop the Christian schools from teaching their bullshit, but we can stop taxpayers' money from going there, and we can create smarter people who don't want to send their kids to where they get lied to. Woo, 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 woo. We need more science education TV and less scam evangelist TV. Yeah, man, that's crazy. Uh, my spouse, I'm not married. My ex was an atheist, yes, but she's not. She's into woo. She thinks witchcraft is real and stuff. But she was always an atheist, when we were together. And my girlfriend now, she's not in here to deny or right now, but when people ask her if she's around me, she kind of nods that she's an atheist. I know she's not really religious. She doesn't agree with her parents' um, hardcore religion that they have. So I think agnostic might be a better word for her. Favorite arguments to use against Christians? Oh God, the ridiculousness of the story itself, that God needs to sacrifice himself in the form of his son, which is still himself, in order to satisfy original sin that we've inherited from Adam. That's the Garden of Eden didn't exist, right? So we understand this. We know that the Garden of Eden is a myth and a metaphor, and we know that humans didn't spring from two people in the Garden of Eden 6,745 years ago in 86 seconds, whatever the fuck it is. So if that part didn't happen, then there's no original sin. There's nothing for Jesus to save us from. The idea that God would need someone else to take our place in that way is ludicrous. I think it must be romantic to people. It must be poetic sounding to people that oh, God is the only one who sacrificed his life for us. None of it makes any sense. If I get into it with somebody, I think that's generally where I go, but I generally don't. And I tell them to praise the Lord instead. I'm a praise the Lord shirt on, so we turn that around for people. I haven't worn that one in a while. There it is. There you go. Praise the Lord. No, I'm not taking the train. I'm driving to North Carolina this time. It's a long ass drive, and it's I get it because the train. I wish that would be cool, but no. Immortal Beloved, one of my favorite movies. Who brought that up? Who's that? Who's that? Acid Tongue Atheist 213. I've mentioned it before on the live, I know, and people ask me what some of my favorite movies, and I forget that one a lot. But I was absolutely blown the fuck away when I watched Immortal Beloved. I thought movie making doesn't get a lot better than that. If you've not seen Immortal Beloved with Gary Oldman playing Beethoven, you're missing out. That's a great, great movie. There is no afterlife. No, Stephen. There's no there. Yeah, there is an afterlife. It's called death. You're near Charlotte? No, I'm going to Charlotte. Kannapolis. Don't know really where that is, but yeah, no, I go to Charlotte when I go to North Carolina. And there's not a whole lot of other places in North Carolina other than Asheville, and I guess is it Raleigh area. It's got some liberals in it now, and in a little bit, but yeah, explosive diarrhea. Favorite argument against Islam? Well, Muhammad again. Muhammad talks about Adam like he was a real person. He talks routinely. I just finished chapter 9. Yeah, I brought it out for you. Just finished chapter 9 of the fine Quran. Thanks for getting muted for a minute, Freedom Seeds for Losers. What's that about? I've never seen that. You muted him for a minute. Um, what's up? You in Charlotte too? Casco Base? No. Yes, FF Mountain Laurel. I am early. Thanks for being here. I changed this Wednesday times to 7 o'clock. I posted a video. You had your countdown warning. But yeah, the 8 o'clock thing just keeps me up till 10 o'clock, and then I haven't eaten. And the only reason I was doing that was because of producer Jay, and he hasn't been able to join lately anyway. So I'm like, why am I suffering? I'm just going to change my live on Wednesdays to be at 7 o'clock. So that's probably when I'll do it. Um, yeah, Mayberry. That's North Carolina, isn't it? Right, Mayberry. Yeah. Tombstone is a great movie. I love Tombstone. It's kind of a pulp movie. I don't know if it's great. It's a great watch. It's easy to see. Anytime it comes on, you fall right into it and watch it. But it's got a lot of scenery chewing, a lot of quips and catchy one-liners, and Billy Bob Thornton when he was still fat. I love Tombstone, man. The Great Powers Booth. Um, I'm your Huckleberry. Yeah, yeah. Val Kilmer. Sad about Val Kilmer, man. If you haven't watched that and you want to be depressed, watch that show on Netflix. Um, he seems to have a pretty good attitude about it, but man, he turned in a great performance there, and he's been in a couple of movies where he was just absolutely fucking brilliant. That's right. I'm your Huckleberry. Johnny Ringo's an educated man, apparently, my dear, and now I really hate him. Right now, I know I hate him. Poor thing, he was just too high strung. Yeah, that's it. You can quote him over and over, man. It's an awesome, awesome movie. Smell that, Curly Bill? Smells like someone died. Johnny Ringo, Michael Biehn never been a great actor, but he was perfect for that part too. Uh, going when he goes Latin to Latin with Doc Holliday in the casino in Vino Veritas. I was on this Christian girl's live stream, and she said 97% of scientists believe in God. Please, why would she bother saying 97? That's like, it's like she actually read it somewhere. Why would you make that up and just not just say 90 or 95? It's more like 7%. That cracks me up. A guy, the Muslim troll that was hammering me about Aisha and about the guy that I responded to the video. What the hell did he say about it? I can't remember what the hell I was going to say. He said that. Oh yeah, he said truth is truth, whether it was uttered 1,400 years ago by a prophet or by a Harvard scientist today. It's still the truth. And I'm thinking, well, there's no Harvard scientists today who claim that Gabriel is dictating the word of God to him. And if they were, they'd likely not be a Harvard scientist for very long. So, yeah, I don't even meet any. I talk to scientists all the time, for the podcast or for just because of what I do. And I don't know any. I don't know any scientists who aren't uh, either atheist or completely lapsed, and just God to them is maybe a deist kind of thing, or just an afterthought because they were raised religious, and they just haven't given it up completely. But it's stupid. Um, Wonderland with Val Kilmer. What's Wonderland? You cried at the Val Kilmer documentary? Yeah, no, it's rough. Um, did you see Ted Koppel's visit to Mayberry? Oh boy, it was rough as a Mayberian. Is Mayberry like a real place? Is that what you're getting at, Shelley? Shelley, plain and short. I don't think you're plain. You might be short. You may leave now. Drop that shotgun. Yeah. We can mute people for a few seconds or minutes, like giving them a small timeout. Is that new? I don't. TikTok has changed some things. It seems like there's updates here that I've noticed, and I don't love them. 87% of stats are made up. Yeah, that's all right. 75% of redheads are fanatics. Somebody used to like to say that at parties just to get people going. I have no idea what it means. It's the true story about Johnny Holmes. What's that? Wonderland? With the porn star John Holmes or Johnny Holmes? I don't know who Johnny Holmes is if it's not the porn star. I'm afraid my hypocrisy knows no bounds. You guys are awesome with the tombstone. Keep them coming. That's fucking great. I'm not Christian. I was just asking. Asking what? I missed it. Do you believe Christianity is a monotheistic religion? Well, no. I mean, it is, but it's not. I mean, yeah, I made a joke about that in a video that it's polytheism within monotheism. I think it's a real effort to keep polytheists involved. The whole invention of the Trinity It was necessary because they wanted Jesus to be divine, or Jesus couldn't also be divine if he wasn't also God. And so they invented this way to conflate these three personalities. It is the way to keep the number three, the magic number three in the religion, a way to keep Jesus as divine as God. And we see this with the saints later in Catholicism. They started adding saints to the pantheon that people pray to. These are also godlike figures, so Christianity is, it is monotheistic, and that's what you'll get if you talk to experts. But in my book, it's monotheism with polytheism built into it. So, and all that to me is to satisfy the people who would rather be polytheistic. Well, you can still have your many gods, just pretend that one of them is in three parts, and go ahead and have as many saints as you want and pray to them, and they'll do godlike things for you if you pray to them, even though they're not really God. We don't really call them God, but if you're praying to somebody to get you safely to another state, and you believe that that might happen for you because you prayed to that entity, then that's a God. Sorry, I'm in the psych field. If you ever want a psych guy on, are you in the psych field, man? I thought you were in the pumpkin growing field. I thought you're in the pumpkin patch, boy. Down under Deb. What's up, down under? Toot toot. Mayberry is Mount Airy. Oh, Mount Airy, famous for its variety of fothergilla. I know that is a horticulturist. You got some nurseries in the area, I would bet. Aaron Ra has good talks on it. On the polytheism thing, yeah, Aaron Ra is great. If you're interested in debates with creationists, there's no better guy to watch than Aaron Ra. So am an atheist. I don't know what that means, but looking for more atheists to hang with? Yeah, you probably know some, and they're probably just in the closet. The Trinity came in to appeal to pagans. Yeah, like I say, all of that polytheism within monotheism is to make it easier for people who aren't comfortable with monotheism to swallow. But the Trinity really invented by Constantine, or the people right after him who held those the councils and decided on what that would be, and their reasoning was because they didn't want to hear heretical talk about how Jesus was not divine. Jesus was a piece of God, if you will. He was as divine as God, and he got his godliness from God because he's the Son of God, right? He was God made flesh, God impregnated through the Holy Spirit, just that other part of the Trinity, right? Jesus' mother. So Jesus has God's DNA in him. He has God stuff in him, but he didn't take any of the God stuff away. Even though God gave Jesus part of his God stuff, God is no lesser divine than he was in the beginning. This is all part of the bullshit that they sat around a table and are like, okay, how's this going to work? It stuns me that anybody could even think that kind of bullshit is deep enough to discuss as a serious topic. It's all just so crappy. Um, True Romance, very good. Yeah. Um, are you a movie buff? Acid Tongue Atheist? Yeah, the pop quotes are fun, right? Saint Jimmy. Too many Christians on this app. Yeah, thank you. Have you watched some of the? I don't watch them, but if you come across a Christian, like somebody will reference one, I'll look at the video, and then I'll look at the creator to see, and they have like 2 million fucking followers, man. There's so many blind fool follower people out there who just if you start a channel with content like that, you're just guaranteed. I wish I was cynical enough to do that. I'd be rich. I would be rich if I could be a televangelist, because I absolutely have what it takes to do that from a performance standpoint. But I can't do that to people. I can't lie to people. I love people too much to sit there and take advantage of their stupidity like some of these preacher fucks do. Hey, you're pretty smart. Thanks. Did you ever study Greek or Hebrew? No, I never did study Greek or Hebrew. Um, I wish I knew a little more Greek. If you study Greek in school, it's ancient Greek, right? People who study Latin or Greek traditionally it's ancient Greek. It's not Greek. It's not the Greek, and there's nothing about modern Greek that is like, I learned this from talking to people. They're not mutually intelligible. People, just because you understand Greek, you met a Greek person, they have no fucking idea what ancient Greek is. It's way different, more different than English is to Old English, which is pretty fucking different. So yeah, I know, to answer your question, I never did study that stuff. I studied German in school and then learned Spanish on my own. Joseph Reed, what's up, bro? Laura Williams, hello. Uh, Thanks for the follow, Big D Papa. Big D Papa P. Love it, man. Hello, Slow Mo. What's up, my friend? Yeah, Constantine was a key figure. Thank you for now is 2021. My guy, thanks for confirming that. And I think he had some help with that. But yeah, they actually made Arian, right, a heretic, and kicked him out because he was of the school of thought that maintained that Jesus wasn't divine. He was a messenger, he was a prophet, he was all this, but he wasn't part of God. And they didn't want to hear that. They'd already made up their minds that that's not how it was going to go. Just watched a Christian live talk about all the persecution of Christians around the world. They don't let us do what we want to do anymore. Fucking Christians and their persecution comics, man. It makes me want to punch them in the throat. It's literally so stupid. It's so stupid. Just because they don't have free reign over the country anymore. And if you watch my live with Dan Barker Sunday, he talked about that. The people at FFRF have great optimism. They think we're really convinced that we are living through the death throes of evangelical Christianity, and they're scared shitless of their day in the sun coming to an end. And so you see that they fight it with everything they have. They're into politics. They all vote. They've gotten measures passed. They've gotten laws passed. They've gotten the Supreme Court stacked with conservatives that are going to affect us for generations. But Barker's right. As soon as the young people get to the point where they start voting, they don't vote enough when they're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. They don't vote enough. But as soon as they get a little older and they start voting, we're going to start seeing that shit go away. What's up, Kev? My guy Kevin Rubix is here. Thanks to my great moderators, Kevin Rubix, Non-Crazy Crazy Cat Lady. Follow those guys if you haven't already. Heather Mac 44, also a moderator, not here tonight. She went out roller skating. Huh? How cool is that? Anybody roller skate? That's kind of a you feel like you're stepping back into at least the 70s, if not the 50s. There's a couple of roller rinks around here, and I'm not good, but I'm not terrible. I can hold my own when I go, and it's kind of fun. But those places themselves, when you walk into them, because they're not building new ones to speak of, really. So they're all like they're filled with old music and old themes and old posters and lights. It's cool. It's like walking into a different world to go roller skating. That was a tangent. Who should be president? What's up, Betty Florence? How much of the Bible do you believe? Do you believe Jesus existed? I don't know. We talked about that Sunday too. I'm kind of with Barker. I'm 50-50, a little bit less that Jesus exists. He certainly didn't exist in the form that we're used to from the Bible. He may have been an archetype. I tend to feel that the Jesus character is based on an archetype of a wandering ascetic preacher, of whom there were many. There were many, 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 many folk like that in the day. And of course, Yeshua was a popular name among Jewish men. So it's not hard to believe that there was a rabbi or a cult leader or a preacher named Jesus that the rest of it ended up being based on, and kind of mythicized, as they say, as history looks back on it, and over time, the legend of Jesus became, mythicized history instead of historicized myth. But there's a lot of people out there who think that he never existed at all in any form whatsoever, and that is what we talk about when we talk about mythicism and historicized myth instead of mythicized history. Atlantic had an article about the end of evangelicals. Cool, man. That is really cool. Yeah. Hey, Matt Stitch. What's up, buddy? Yeah. Like I was saying, Barker's and the hell, dog making a mess back there. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he's an amazing guy, and if you get a chance to meet him in person, if you ever go to a convention, it's just the same. He absolutely makes time for you, and it's really, really it's really special dude, smart guy, Renaissance man. So the Bible, I don't believe much of the Bible. There's parts of the Bible that you can take as history with a grain of salt. I mean, all that the Jewish law and the history of the judges and the kings, and most of that stuff probably happened. It's not to be relied on as you know solid fact. I think historians, especially the scribes who wrote the Bible, probably spun it in a way that got their message across. But some of that stuff is probably at least based on history. But I wouldn't bet any real money on any of it being absolutely true. Did you hear about modern day evolution? Elephants are evolving to not have trunks. Oh, I did not hear about that. Is that serious? Dota Man 58. Uh, how do you deal with Jordan Peterson stans? STANS. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know Jordan Peterson enough to really talk about it, honestly. Check out Harmonic Atheist on YouTube. Okay. Oh, I should be president. I wish, man. That would be fun. That would be fun. Things would be different if I was president. I can tell you that. Tell your favorite sacrilegious joke. Oh boy. Oh, I know there are some. Boy. I'd have to think about that. I have my limericks. I got my sacrilegious limericks. Those count as jokes. Jesus is probably a culmination of people, including women. Maybe. Favorite candy for Halloween? Wow. I don't know, man. You get some shitty candy, don't you, on Halloween? I'm a big fan of a peanut butter cup. Can't beat a Reese's. Uh, 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 Snickers, man. What's better than a Snickers bar? Those things are fucking great. We certainly need less religious conservatives. Yeah, we do. Were you ever in a goth band? No, I was in a new wave band. Oh, that was your question to him about the 50%? Yeah, for sure. You had a whistle like that when you drove the train at the mall? There's a big mall if it had a train in it. That's cool. Where was that at? Aaron Ross should be president. Maybe Shannon Q. Yeah, maybe, right? I'd vote for either of those guys. Aaron's, Aaron's a great guy. I'm not sure he'd be the best president. I don't think he cares about paying attention to that kind of stuff. I've hung out with Aaron a lot. I know what he's like, and he really knows the stuff that he knows. He can be absent-minded as fuck. I want to tell you what, man. You think Biden is having trouble tripping on himself and like forgetting shit? Aaron is a lot like that. He's like, if you watch his YouTube stuff, he's ready, he's prepared, he knows his shit, he's a brilliant guy. But then he's like, he'll forget to tie his shoes and shit like that, man. I believe it was more of a title. I'm scrolling back here through the comments, I know, because I'm talking, and I miss. I'm an open atheist, but in the closet. You're an open atheist, but in the closet Democrat. That's scary. It's easier for you to be an atheist than a Democrat in Missouri. Oh, poor Missouri. Oh, boy. Did Aaron run for local office? All right, maybe. Yeah. Good for him for doing that, man. I mean, if you're an atheist in Texas, that's part of what you ought to do is run for local office and try to like gain a foothold there, because man, Texas is fucked up. I see where Texas is trying to ban long hair now. Texas schools are trying to ban boys with long hair. What the fuck is wrong with Texas? If I could go to Texas with a stick, I'd whoop those fuckers, man. Jesus, what a dumbass state. All the kids they found on mass graves to just name the most recent. Maybe then when we prove string theory and reveal dimensions, we'll discover time travel. That'd be awesome, man. Wouldn't you love to discover time travel? You like string theory, right? I understand that. Where are they at with that? I don't think string theory's actually gotten very far as peer-reviewed research. Then we can go back and confirm Jesus or not. No Jesus will be because of the devil, though. Yeah, though if they go back in time and find no Jesus, they'll have a reason. They're like, well, the devil beat you to it. He went back in time first and whacked them. Fresh Reese's, not ones that's been sitting in a bag for a year. I'll still eat the one that's been in a bag for a year, but you're right, it's better. Ghostface. Jordan Peterson is a misogynistic twonk. You like that word twonk, don't you, Joy? Twonk. Not a word. Don't pull that one out on me on the game, because I know that's not a word in anybody's dictionary. Which scandal? But it sounds good, right? Like calling people a chooch. You ever call people a chooch? It's an Italian slang for chuccio. And I'm not sure what it really means, but it sounds funny. I'm like, what a chooch. This guy's a chooch. S'mores bars? Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I do remember those bars. What's the worst candy to get in Halloween? There's one. Let me hear that from you people. What's the worst candy to get at Halloween in your in your Halloween trick or treat bag? Like bit of honey, some shit like that. Define twonk. I might need to use it. You got to ask non-crazy crazy cat lady what twonk really means. I mean, it means you know ass hat. Um, what's a good synonym for twonk? Chooch, like I said, touch hole. Tootsie roll. You don't like Tootsie rolls? I don't love Tootsie rolls, but they're not the worst. Those get stale though, man. You need a fresher Tootsie roll. Pretzels or apples? See, my parents wouldn't let us take apples. My mom would throw those out because those are too easy to poison, right? If somebody was gonna stick a razor blade in that apple, or about that. I mean, this shit needed even back in the day. My parents were about it. Stuff needed to be. It's probably dirty, like sucio in Spanish. Maybe chucho. Maybe that could be. Oh yeah, Necco wafers, good one, man. Necco wafers suck. Who made those things up, man? That's terrible. No name black and orange peanut butter candy. I don't know what that is, but yeah, anybody who's buying the like off-brand candy and giving it out, man, it's like, come on, man, get with the program. You weren't allowed to trick or treat. What, Laura Williams? This one's for you, man. I grew up in a little religious town. We were like, the churches were liberal. We weren't freak ass fucking. I remember when an assembly, we had two churches growing up: Baptist Church, Northern Baptist, First Baptist, and a Congregational church. And the differences were nothing. One was on one side of town, and one was on the other side of town. Philosophy, theology, virtually the fucking same. Just depending on where you lived and which was closer, right? And then in the '80s, the early '80s, an Assembly of God church popped up and used the library for. Well, not the library. I shouldn't say that. It was like a town meeting place that anybody could rent, So they would have rented it to anybody. I can't really call it a violation. They didn't have their own church building, so they rented the town gathering hall thing that it was. And we'd never seen anything like that, because people would sit and they weren't charismatic, they weren't Pentecostal, it was just an Assembly of God church, but people would talk back. They'd say amen out loud. We'd never heard that. You went to church, kept the fucking mouth shut, unless it was singing, or you were involved. You'd sing this choir, and then you sat down, you shut the fuck up, and let the preacher do his thing. And these people were like, "Amen, oh, amen," raising their hands up a little bit, and we were like, "Ooh," because we all went. We were all like, "Let's go check out the new church in town and see, what's up." And that was the beginning of the Reagan era when born againism became a thing. No, black licorice. You are absolutely right. Sin-free atheist. You are right. Black licorice is nasty, and you can fight sin-free atheist if you think that it is. Yeah, Twix is good. Twix is a good candy. It is weird, acid tongue atheist, that you love Necco wafers. I'm gonna give you a toot out for being an individual there. That's awesome. Thanks for the disco balls, Nicole Aspenick. I didn't see you. Thanks, Nicole. Love you so much. That made my screen so pretty for a second. I'm the guy that gave everybody their black licorice too. I loved it. Oh, everyone gave their black licorice to you. You love it. Oh, Matt. You guys, you're the two Matts, Matt Stitch and Matt Hatter. You Matts can trade your black licorice, man. I'll send you mine too, man. Yeah, jelly beans in general are gross, man. I don't like jelly beans. It's just like balls of sugar, man, with flavor in them. And we lived like Jelly Belly was right here in Pleasant Prairie, the Jelly Belly factory. And those ones I have to say I would try because the flavors are so good and so exotic. Wesley Curry too. I shut the vision. You what? You're the first one on. Wesley Curry on YouTube. Thanks, man. I am on YouTube. Subscribe. Pull down the menu on the bio and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks. No, black licorice is bogus, man. It's like not even candy. It's like medicine. I don't even know what black licorice could be. Like, and the red licorice is bad enough. But at least it's not like that anise flavor. Fucking disgusting. Why don't you just drink NyQuil and be done with it? I love competing with my neighbors in Halloween decorations. You like that? That's cool. Halloween was awesome for that. But I was started to say, growing up in that small town, like, nobody demonized Halloween like they do nowadays. You got all these fucking evangelicals like really scared of Halloween, like you're gonna actually invoke the devil, and you shouldn't be involved in Halloween, man. What a fucking disgusting concept, man. I mean, nobody can ruin a holiday like a fucking evangelical. Halloween does rule. It's been a few years since I actually really participated in Halloween, and I don't think I'm going to be able to, too terribly for a few years there in a row. I kicked some ass. I was Walter White one year, and I won a contest with that one. It was badass. I was John Lennon one year, put on a wig, played John Lennon, did the accent, did the whole bit. I was Popeye. I make a killer Popeye. It's, right? Not too hard to imagine, right? So I like shaved my head good, got a sailor outfit, and I was a kick-ass Popeye one year. 4 or 5 years in a row, I was hairless Potter one year. I went as Harry Potter, but I'm hairless Potter. Um, Last Gary Oldman movie references The Fifth Element was best. No, no. Fifth Element was a decent movie, and then it got to God at the end, didn't it? Fifth Element sucked. Sorry, I'll fight you right now. Right, that's Bruce Willis and the little what's her name? Little Eastern European thing that was hot for a while. Atheist Hub says, I'm a cookie this year because I'm handing out candy at a zoo. My sister is interning, so you're dressed as a cookie? That's cool. Can you go around going, eat me? You got to do a limerick as Popeye? Wow, that's a good idea. Maybe Popeye can do a limerick. Love the way Popeye muttered, man. If you watch the old, yeah, Mila Jovovich, thank you. Jovovich or whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where did she go? Send me a picture of the Trumpkin. Let's do that, man. I want to see that. The Trumpkin. Mila Jovovich ruined my favorite video game series. Her and her husband. Yeah, but she married to the director, isn't she? Isn't she married to the touchhole who directed The Fifth Element? I want to say. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. How did they ruin your favorite video game series? Let me know about that, man. And what is that favorite video game series? What's a better video game series than Grand Theft Auto? That's all I really need. I haven't even finished 5 yet. I don't play a lot anymore, but that should have kept me entertained for all fucking night. I have to send you. Yeah, definitely you do. Let me see. No, is she still hot? I don't know. I never thought she was terribly hot, but I don't like the 90 pounders, man. Doesn't do a lot for me. My mom was the same way with Halloween. Christian Satanic Panic. Really, your mom was? Lady Luna 02 says, sorry about that, man. That's brutal. That's just fucking brutal. I live in a far right area. I was considering holding a satanic mass many yard. Yeah, you should, man. You absolutely should. Put the Trumpkin out there, hold a satanic mass, and then smash the Trumpkin. Once you're done with it, smash it in fucking public. M&Ms or Skittles? Boy, Skittles have good flavors, but I think in the end I'd probably have to take M&Ms because Skittles just too much raw sugar when you're eating the Skittles. It's like a few of them go a long way, right? But M&Ms with peanuts too. That's a good fucking candy. You used to be terrified of Halloween. Why? I would have said Skittles before they ruined them with green. What's wrong with green? You like black licorice and not green apple, man. You should have your fucking head examined, dude. Green apples are great. And green apples, I mean, I'm not a big apple guy, but I like them when they're fresh. If you go to the orchard and get them fresh and crispy, they're good. But I think apples are one of the most overrated fruits that there is. Anywhere I always have, and they're like so ubiquitous. You're like apple. What's your favorite fruit? Apples. What's your favorite fruit? Apples. What's your favorite fruit? Apple. Really? You got delicious fruits in the world, and you're gonna pick an apple for your favorite fruit? But a good tart Granny Smith apple. Oh man, come on, you can't beat it. Carolyn AL5. What's up, girl? You had your head examined. The guy screamed and ran out of the room. Yeah. Skills are all the same flavor. Yeah, yeah. You're a kid, you don't notice that shit. You know what I like? If I'm gonna eat something like Skittles, I like sweet tarts, the little mini chewy ones. Those are fucking good, man. The flavors are tasty, and I like the consistency. I like the texture better um, than Skittles. But I enjoy Skittles now and again. If there's a Skittles around and that's what's up, I'll eat Skittles. I'd rather have Starburst, I think, than Skittles, honestly. And what about those dorks who gave toothbrushes out? Nobody went back for say, I don't know. I never got a toothbrush. You guys ever get a toothbrush for Halloween? ABHC rat. That's hilarious, man. I got a toothbrush. That's a dentist, like the local dentist giving you a tooth. Come on, man. That's brutal. People give you what did people give us that wasn't candy? I'm trying to think. I don't know, but that happens. I know that happens. And there was a guy who somebody told me that they had a guy who handed out Chick Tracts. Hey Rhonda, what's up? Apples with peanut butter, says FF Mountain Laurel. Um, everything peanut butter is good on everything. Here's one for you. Not that's Halloween, but my grandma made us peanut butter and pickle sandwiches, and they were sliced dill pickles. And I grew up eating those. And I never knew any different. And people, I bring them to school in my lunchbox, and kids would be like, "What the fuck are you eating, man?" And I'm like, "Don't knock until you try it, man. I'll tell you what. You got to get the texture. You got to get the ratio right. You can't have the pickles be too thin, and you can't put too much peanut butter on it. But a good dill pickle, get the big ones, slice them into big long slices. One side of the bread, peanut butter on the other side of the bread. Wheat bread always, and peanut. I still eat peanut butter and pickle. It's fucking great. But peanut butter and banana, peanut butter and tomato. We grew up eating fresh tomatoes out of the garden with peanut butter on them. I don't know what's not good with peanut butter on it. What type of candy is Starburst? They're square chewy thing. You've never seen a Starburst? Go to the fucking gas station right now and get you some Starburst, dude. They're great. There was a dentist in my neighborhood. He gave out giant caramel apples. Who doesn't love a caramel apple? Caramel apple. That's a great way to eat a tart apple, man, with a nice caramel wrap on it, man. That's good shit. I love caramel. They hand out from the trunk of a car in a parking lot. That's the trick. The trunk or treats, right? That's all the rage now. Trunk or treat. Because I don't know, is that like a safe option or a way to? What, Kev? What did I make you laugh again? You my guy. Peanut butter and jelly waffle sandwich. Oh, that sounds tasty. Waffles are great to make sandwiches on. You ever take an Eggo? Take Eggos and make like an egg McMuffin style sandwich on them. It's fucking brilliant, man. Fry a little sausage up, egg, cheese, and use 2 Eggos for the bread, man. And that's good shit. Yeah, peanut butter and apples. Who don't love celery? Everybody knows celery with peanut butter, right? Even some raisins, right? Ants on a log. Um, I'll open up the peanut butter and I'll pull a piece of celery out and I'll just eat peanut butter out of the jar with the celery. And I don't want to hear about the double dipping. I don't give a fuck. People don't like it. They don't got to eat out of my peanut butter jar. Grilled BP sandwich, like a grilled. You mean a PB sandwich? Yeah, a grilled PB and J is awesome, man. I've definitely done that. That's great. There's nothing better than melted peanut butter on a PBJ. Um, you double dip in your peanut butter jar. I'll stick my finger right in there if I'm craving a little peanut butter. I don't care. Sometimes the only way to get like some of that stuff that sticks around the top. You're way the fuck out in the New Mexico desert. Nobody tricks or treats there. Oh, we're way out in the New Mexican desert. Nobody trick or treats out there. Coyotes will munch. They don't want to trick or treat if the coyotes are the only ones getting snacks and they're taking a bite out of your ass. Yes, but what kind of candy is that chewy stuff? What do you mean? Starburst? You talking about still? Yeah, the trunk or treat thing is everywhere here. There's not just churches. There's a lot of churches, but I saw a storage facility do a trunk or treat. Like, I don't know what gave them the idea to do it, but we see them everywhere. Yeah, so you got hands. There's somebody's always giving out a Chick Track on Halloween, man. Those people are just like, you know what? You don't even go to that house next year. Fuck that. Yeah, pickles are great, aren't they, Matt? I encourage you to try a peanut butter and pickle sandwich. I'm a couponer and I have tons of free toothpaste. Thought about giving it out for Halloween. Give it out, but give them some candy too. You know what I mean? Don't just give toothpaste by itself. If you're hungry enough, anything is good. That's a fact. But if you're starving, anything is good. Hey, hey. I got those little Bible packets. I don't know what that is, but the Chick Tracks definitely remember. Pencil and a notepad. You got a pencil and a notepad from somebody for Halloween. I'm trying to think what we would get for Halloween. Maybe like stocking stuffer style toys, like a little harmonica. I'm trying to think. You love Halloween because your wife will go out in outfits that she would never dare wear. Well, she's wearing it on Halloween, buddy. That's often. Uh, or that's awesome. I mean, many people have never seen God, so they never believe in one. Um, okay, Zieg, we're back to God talk. We're talking about Halloween here. Just having some some off atheist talk here because it's Halloween and people are talking about movies. We talked about like potatoes, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Everybody loves potatoes, man. I made a Thai curry last night. I'm crazy about Thai curry, and I get on Amazon and I order because we have a local store that used to stock it, but there's these curry pastes by Myploy, Maeploy, and it's a Thai company that makes coconut, and they're selling you the curry paste because they know you have to buy the coconut milk to mix with it, and they're fucking great. They're great products. There's no artificial ingredients. They're just the you couldn't make it better yourself at home. It's not. It's a waste of time because you'd have to buy shrimp paste or shrimp powder and stuff that you can't find, lemongrass and shit that you can't find. Right? These are all done up for you. There's a green one, a red one, a yellow one, a Panang curry, a masamun curry. They're really easy to make, and you put the paste in, you stir fry it, you put some onions in there, then you dump the coconut milk, and then I use chicken broth because I like it thinner. You can use 2 coconut milks and it comes out kind of creamy and thick, and takes some of the heat away. And then you can throw whatever you want in it, man, and potatoes and carrots, and you oh man, I made one of those last night and it was just fucking fantastic. The Jesus Ween thing is all about telling people to hand out Bibles instead of candy. Yeah, that's really going to go over great with kids. They really want to see a Bible. Um, American curry tastes a little more tomatoes. What's an American curry? Depression candy is boiled potatoes mixed with powdered sugar and filled with peanut butter and roll. That sounds nasty. Uh, yeah, that's awesome. If you're into Halloween, your costume should get better every year if you're doing it, man. Practice makes perfect, my friend. Western New York State was the best place for kids. Very low crime and nice area. Yeah, there's a lot of places that can be described that way. I grew up in idyllic towns in northeastern Connecticut, small towns, no crime to speak of. Everybody left their doors open, keys in the car or whatever. You didn't have to worry about that kind of shit. We were out all hours of the night. I mean, it gets dark early, but the fire station had always had a Halloween party that you could go to, and we trick or treated because this is a small town. You really had to go, man. We got on our bikes and we went and hit as many houses as we could in this little bitty town, man. We were out really late on Halloween as 12, 13, 14-year-olds. It was just the best. Yeah, we did some egging. We did some shenanigans on house on Halloween for sure. One guy on my block when I was a kid gave out D&D dice. Didn't know what they were, but they were cool. I feel like that's a little weird, right? I mean, it's like trying to turn people on to D&D. What if you have no idea what D&D was? Like you said, you're gonna go, I better get the rest of the set to to learn how to play this. Uh, I'll eat Nilly wafers. Yeah, Nilla wafers. Um, those aren't terrible. They're not. That's not like some of that candy that's just so bad. Like Chuckles. I hated Chuckles and like Peeps. For Easter, those marshmallow Peeps, that kind of shit. There's candy like that for Halloween too, little pumpkins and stuff. Those things suck. What is D&D? Dungeons and Dragons. He's talking about fantasy, um, role playing. You sit around a group of your science fiction and fantasy freak friends, and there's wizards, and I was never a D&D guy, but I've seen enough of it to know what it's about, and it's pretty cool. If you're into it, it's fun. I can tell. And I would not be against it. I just never was in with a group of. I was by the time I was in college. I was actually went from being a geek in high school to being one of the cooler kids in college. And the people who played D&D were in college. When I was in college in the '80s, were the absolute weirdest geeks, dorks. All love, no shade. But these are like the total nerd. Tape on the glasses, no girlfriend, no boyfriend, staying up all night playing D&D with each other. Heroes Quest, yeah, same kind of thing. There's a lot of those games, not like a ton of those games. If you were to go to one of those game stores, they got there's all kinds of role playing games. It's gone way beyond. But D&D was like the original and the big one. I take exception to the freak comment, but I can't say you're wrong. I know, right? I mean, like I said, they were all great people, but I'm just telling you, they were freaks. I remember a cartoon with that name, but never played it. But D&D, the cartoon. Um, Mills wafers with peanut butter. What's a Mills wafer? Or are you talking about Nilla wafer? I feel like Nilla wafers, just those little plain vanilla cookies. They're not if they're fresh enough, they're not that horrible. Yeah, I think D&D's Matt Hatter loves D&D now, and I can believe that about you. If I had a chance and the right group of people, I'd absolutely play because I enjoy that kind of shit, as you might intuit if you know how I am. I throw myself into that and go ahead and play the role. Uh, Fruity chicken curry from America. What does that mean? America's a big place, my bud. What's a fruity chicken curry, and where do you get it? I mean, I know what a fruity chicken curry is. Um, there's a mango chicken curry recipe that's fruity chicken, right? But what do you mean in America? Where do you get that? That you think it's some kind of U.S. cuisine? People get down on American food, don't they? People get down on U.S. cuisine, and I think that's unfair because the world cuisine that we put out there is hot dogs and hamburgers, right? But America has regional cuisines that a lot of times reflect ethnic past, a lot of times reflect local produce, right? If you go to the mid-Atlantic states, you can't do any better than the crab cakes and shit like that you can get there. You go to Maine and New England and you get the chowdas and the lobster and crab boils and fish boils and you go to New Orleans and you get fabulous fucking local cuisine. You go to the West Coast, you get different. You go to Hawaii, you get. I mean, I feel like American cuisine gets maligned for no good reason. Um, yeah, American cuisine is great because it's so diverse and open to modifications. Thank you, Michelle Espino. 87. Yeah, appreciate that. I think on a it's a fruity Indian. It's a fruity Indian man. What's that fruity chicken curry? You know what? The Squid Carolyn wants to know if I watched Squid Game on Netflix. I I think I talked about this once. My girlfriend watched it and started watching it without me and wanted me to watch it. And I sat down with her and she had the fucking dubbing on. She was watching it in English. I will not watch a foreign produced effort with English dubbing. I will read the subtitles. I don't care what it is. I cannot stand dubbed movies. It ruins the emotional impact for me. I cannot get into the actor's state of mind. If I don't care what language it is, if you're watching it in English dubbed version, you're missing out. So I ended up seeing most of it. I'll probably watch it again in Korean on my own because everybody raves about it. But I saw enough of it so that it's not going to be exciting in that way because spoilers, and I've seen the end, and boy, people fucking really love it, don't they? They really love it, and it's definitely different. I'll say that for it, um, and dystopian in its crazy way, and I do like that stuff. So, yeah, Squid Game, I'm behind it. I got jobbed, man. She watched it in dubbing. Yeah, exactly right. So much context is lost. So much just the emotion is lost because people are like trying to emote in their native language, and you're hearing, well, we better get to work now because our task is starting soon. What the fuck, man? Really? And and they're never well done. It's just bad. And we watched it with like the dubbing and the subtitles on, so we're like, and it didn't match. Like the English dialogue didn't match the English subtitles. There was nothing more distracting. It was awful. Was someone preaching on the train? Get rid of them. I don't know what that's about. I did not see it. Here we are. We're not even talking about. Oh, Christ is God. Talk about the polytheism. Here you go. Is God God or is Christ God, buddy? What Christ is either dead for 2,000 years or never existed. That's what Christ is. Yeah, voice dubbing works if you're watching like cheesy shit like that. Then it's funny, right? You're campy anyway. The old Saturday morning kung fu movies that you used to watch, and we all grew up with the dubbing. It's like I don't even think you could get the originals of those with the original language. That probably wasn't available. But now you could just change your settings on Netflix. And I'm like, I gave her shit. I'm like, why are you watching this dubbed? And she had some excuse like the Korean was so distracting as a sound that it made it hard for her to read the subtitle. I don't know what the fuck it was, but I was like, really? But then I had to like that's what she was watching, and so I was in and out of the room. And I never laid down and like watched it with her, but I saw so much of it that it's not going to be new for me when I do watch it. Lady Luna, what don't you know what it is? Squid Game? Pennsylvania Dutch foods. You like scrapple, Matt? Do you like scrapple? Who knows what scrapple is besides Matt? Matt States, not Matt Hatter. If you know what scrapple is, Manga Keku wrote me something in pure Chinese symbols, man. What's up, Super Idol? With a bunch of Chinese. I wish I had Chinese characters. I don't know what that is, buddy. Um, Scrapple is tasty. No, Rhonda. You know what Scrapple is? No. When I was a kid, I couldn't eat it, but now if I'm going to Pennsylvania Dutch country and going to a restaurant, I'm getting me some Scrapple because you just can't get it everywhere. It is nasty stuff. When you know what's in it, like maybe you don't really want to eat it. But yeah, shoe fly pie too. There's a good one. I'm waiting till the hype dies down before I watch Squid Game. Yeah, kind of sick of hearing about it. I know it. Yeah, you got to crispy up the Scrapple. It can't be mushy. It's got to be crispy. That's like anything, right? Sausage or bacon, it's got to be a little bit crispy. Who likes bacon when it's all blobby and flabby? You can click and hold on the text and do the translate. That Chinese makes no sense even. Hang on, let me go back and do that. Where is it? Super Idol smile is not as sweet as your August noon sun, is not as dazzling as your love of 105 degrees Celsius. You drops of pure distilled water, you do not know how cute you are after falling down. We'll giggle and then stand up. That's awesome, man. Is that run on poetry? Manga Keku, thank you for that. That's sweet. I have a book that compiled 10,000 deities, documented deities, 10,000. People like to throw around 3,000, 4,000 gods. You have 10,000 deities, man. That's fucking great. Might be because it already had an English sentence. I don't know, but it translated for me. I just read it to you. You love some fried chicken gizzards? Yeah, you know what? I had some recently, I think, for the first time ever, and not as bad. Eating a gizzard not as bad as I thought. I try to stay away from organs in general. It's not real great for you, but they were tasty, I have to admit. Yes, we know you. We know you worship Joe Pesci, Matt. Uh, Pennsylvania Dutch guy. I've spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania Dutch country, as you might imagine, having family in Altoona, and we would always get maple sugar candy. I don't know why. I think that's not necessarily a Pennsylvania Dutch thing, but the shops that we went to always had that. And me and my sister, man, we were always that was grandma would get us some maple sugar candy uh, for a treat when we went there, and you just a little bit of the nibble and let it melt in your mouth because that shit is sweet. Talk about rich. Do you believe the tongue language exists? I don't know what that means. Tongue language. All seriousness, Bram Stoker's was the best Oldman work. No, I disagree. You have to watch. You have to watch Abe, Sid, and Nancy. It doesn't get much better than that. And you have to watch Immortal Beloved. Maybe Oldman was good in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I don't remember it because the movie was so basic and bad. I was really disappointed in Coppola. I was expecting something much better, and I don't even remember being able to get through an hour of that movie. I thought it was terrible. Good evening, Pharaoh Muffins. Little chewy but good. What was chewy but good? The book is for everybody. Oh, I know you all can read the comments too. Dictionary of Ancient Deities by Patricia Turner and Charles Coulter. Nice. Well, I would hope Jesus is in it. It'd be a pretty big one to leave out. Uh, Down Under Dead. A lot of love for Bram Stoker's Dracula. Maybe I'll have to revisit it, you guys. Maybe I'll have to revisit it. I don't know. I couldn't get over the hairdo. It was weird, wasn't it? Or the head thing that he had. No, I just thought I was expecting something a little more engaging. I don't know. Maybe I was in the wrong headspace, but I found it to be insanely boring. At least. Oh, tongue language, speaking in tongues. All right. Is that what that means? Marshmallow cutie pie. Thanks for that. For that translation. Um, do I believe that the tongue language? No, that's all bullshit. That's a psychological state you work yourself into, and you start doing it, and then it becomes easy to do once you realize how to do it. It's not, it's not real. The frenzy that these people whip themselves up into is real, and that leads them to, um, it's a circle, right? You get in a frenzy, and you can make yourself talk in tongues. You start talking in tongues, and you convince yourself to be in the frenzy, and it goes and goes around in circles. It's a way of exciting the endorphins in your brain, the same way that it does when normal people smoke a little weed. That's what these people have. It's what gets them off. And once you get into it, I know this as an actor. Once you get into doing an exercise like that, you start believing it yourself. But of course not. It's all shit. So have you heard some of the shit that they fucking come up with? Sometimes it's just they're not even trying. It's like try and make it sound like a language at least. If it's gonna be an unknown tongue, no, 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 no. Yeah, Last Temptation of Christ was a great movie. I love, Scorsese's great. What a great fucking director. He's the missteps he's made in his career are exceedingly few. Um, but yeah, I talked about that last week. I want to say I was at the premiere in Chicago, and man, the people were on the streets protesting, and that's part of why I wanted to go. I was certainly already an atheist when I was probably 25 when that movie came out or around there, and I wanted to see the protesters and it was worth it. And then the movie was fucking fantastic. And people inside the movie were still making noise because they didn't like what they were seeing on the screen. You're talking about snake handlers. A lot of churches speak in tongues. Only a few churches handle snakes. I watched a quick video about that. The one dude who wore the pink suit and got bit in his fucking head by the snake, and he's like, "Turn the cameras off," as his head's swelling up. But those people get bit all the time, man. I wonder what a Tarantino Jesus movie would be like. Irreverent. That's what it would be like. Do you listen to Scathing Atheist or God Awful movies? No, you know what? I don't. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't make time for it. And Scathing Atheist, a good one by all accounts. I've uh, talked to those guys back at the old show. I'm pretty sure we had them on as a guest on to interview. But yeah, I don't make time for podcasts, unfortunately. Uh, 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 been to churches where people speak in tongues. Yeah, so have I. I'd never seen that before until I went to one, and I was like, really, this is what we're doing here. I'm out. When I try to speak in tongues, people say I'm funny. Then I ask how I'm funny. Pesci, Pesci excessive. You think I'm funny? Am I funny? I'm a clown. I'm here to amuse you. No, no. Explain to me what you mean by funny. How am I funny? Peculiar funny? Ha ha. No, no. Just I'm saying you're funny. Tell the stories is funny. Who never heard of speaking in tongues? Um, yeah, the book Dracula probably. Have I read Dracula? I can believe that the book Dracula was boring, Matt. Thanks. The Pesci's pretty funny. It's pretty easy to do the Pesci impression. I do some impressions, uh, um, but I don't. I've never been able to do a Trump. I wish I could do a Trump. I cannot. It just doesn't come out of my face. The Trump impression. Um, some of those other presidents are easy to do it. You got a W. Bush in America. The impressive thing is the book Dracula is it's basically the first example of found footage genre. Found footage in a book? I'm not sure what you mean, man. You were dragged through CLC as a teenager. uh, that reminds me of the Good Feathers on Animaniacs. I don't know what that is. If God is all loving, why does He allow evil? Well, God doesn't exist, so that makes that question go away real easy. So this is like the problems that people on the fence deal with when you're deconstructing or when you're doubting or when you're questioning your religion. That's a big one, right? It's like, why does evil exist? If God is all powerful, He could end evil, unless He doesn't want to, and then He's malevolent. If He doesn't want to, but He can, He's malevolent. If He can, but He doesn't want to, or if He can't, but He does want to, then He's not all powerful. If He can and he if He can end evil and he wants to end evil and He's able to, then why do we still have evil? And if He's neither able or willing, then why call Him God, right? It's this is the name escapes me. It's an ancient Greek who came up with that. Somebody will remind me. Something with a C, right? That that issue for Christians or for believers. And once you realize that the answer is that there is no God, it all becomes so simple. So all these paradoxes, all these contradictions, all these seeming issues that you have justifying these different problems within faith, they all go away when you accept that what you're looking for is just not there. It all melts away, and it becomes so much easier to get your head around why this crap happens. It happens because the universe doesn't give a fuck about you. It happens because you did something to make it happen. It, good things happen to bad people because of cause and effect, and because of random circumstance, and because the universe does not care. Thanks, Given Lovin', Given Lynn, Given Lovin'. It's Given Lynn 22. Thank you. I love you. Uh, Epicurious. Thank you. I knew there was a C in there. Some of the Epicurious. Uh, Thanks, guys. I knew you'd have my back on that one. The old brain is getting a little bit rusty when it comes to remembering shit sometimes. Loving God, allowing evil is one reason to believe the Christian God doesn't exist. Yeah, like I said, it's easy to get your head around that. Thanks, Anna Breaks for Fraggles. There's one for you. I didn't see you here earlier. I appreciate you guys being on board on a Wednesday. Warner Rotherham had a cartoon in the 90s called Animaniacs. I seem to remember Animaniacs and wish there was some mafia pigeon. I remember the name Animaniacs. I'm sure I didn't see that. Nothing in the 90s. That was my time for not watching too much TV. What I saw in the 90s was X-Files. Couldn't miss that. And maybe a little bit of Simpsons in the early 90s, and a couple of other shows from the 90s. I remember China Beach was a great show. Um, but yeah, the 90s, I was too busy. I wasn't sitting on the couch watching TV anymore at that point. Gotta love the Coen brothers. Yeah, absolutely. Who brought up the Coen brothers? The Coen brothers are fucking fantastic. You thought compartmentalization, religious folk are especially good at that. Yeah, and I think especially what somebody else brought up, the scientists who are religious still, and there's not very many of them, but the ones that are, they just and this on the last podcast I talked to an astronomer, and I asked her, I'm like, do you know any scientists who are religious? She said, yeah, and it's just kind of the non-overlapping magisterium thing where they just keep it separate, compartmentalized. This is things that science doesn't address. We leave to God, and none of these people were hardcores. They weren't, evangelicals. They weren't snake handlers. They weren't. These just people who were indoctrinated in their own way, and can't really let go of the concept. And so they just keep it separate, and they're not necessarily bad scientists. They're just not going to be the scientists who discover, um, you know, the reasons that end up proving that God doesn't exist. They're not going to be those scientists. They're going to be the scientists who are teaching ninth grade earth science or geology or whatever, and then they go to church on Sunday with their family. Um, what is your opinion on channeling? Um, I'm channeling right now. I got my channel on TikTok, my friend. I don't know. Is there something specific you can channeling, like medium, like channeling somebody else's personality or psyche from the past? Is that what you're talking about? All that shit is bullshit. Those, if that's what you're talking about, all the psychics and people like that, it's a con game. I find it funny how you say there is no evidence for evolution, yet believe Adam and Eve existed. Oh, they say there. You find it funny how they say there's no evidence for evolution, yet believe Adam and Eve existed. Um, I mean, you just, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. That's for you, babe. Um, oh, because there's no evidence for Adam and Eve. Yeah. Well, according to them, the Bible's evidence. That's the thing. But people who are in this, they're stuck in this psychological situation. They cannot. It's their firmly held belief. So whenever you present them with facts that contradict their firmly held belief, they will double down on the firmly held belief. That's human psychology. One of the old podcasts had an interview with a neuropsychologist who explained it, better than I can right now. But that's just the way most people's brains are hardwired. Most people will double down on their firmly held beliefs in the face of evidence to the contrary. So it's no surprise if you really think, if you're daft enough to think that Adam and Eve actually existed, you're gonna deny evolution because you have to. You can't have it both ways. You can't have evolution happening and then like slip Adam and Eve in there somehow. It's like they wouldn't be the first ones with it. And it's like, maybe Adam and Eve existed, but they weren't the first humans. They were just characters with Jewish names in a story. Somewhere along the evolutionary line, you'd have to ignore all of the people who went before them. Um, yeah, and there's two creation stories. There's right away in the Bible. You don't have to read very far into Genesis to get two conflicting creation stories. It's right there for you. But again, they're not going. They have a reason. They've talked to their youth pastor. They've talked to their evangelical minister. They've talked to the head liar at their church, and that person has given them the reason that the justification for the two stories in the Bible, or they just don't read it and gloss it over. Serve time, do crime. If you read the fine print, the disclaimer is always there so they don't get sued or anything. Who's that? The Bible? Can't sue the Bible. Disclaimer's in there. The Bible never stated that, though, in a beginning, not in the beginning. The Turkish word for man is Adam. All right. Did not know that. Youth pastors do, right? These people are like, that's what they'll put they'll make a TikTok about it. They'll base their whole argument on something that they learned from a youth pastor. You see people shit all the time. God, this world is a test. That's not in the Bible, but that idea that this world is a test, it came from somebody. Somebody said to somebody, well, this is just a test, and your husband's going through this now because God is testing you. And that's not biblical. That's just humans justifying why, again, bad things happen to good people. You can sue the Bible through your insurance under acts of God. Yeah, who's gonna pay, right? Do you practice Pascal's wager? Yeah, I can't get it right. I practice and I practice. I can't get it perfect because I'm always missing one of the 10,000 deities. Because you're going to believe that, you better believe it, or you have everything to lose if it ends up being true. Then you gotta bet on everyone, right? You got to hedge every bet and believe that every religious story, every dogma, every doctrine, and every deity is possibly true. So you got to believe them all. You speak now as 21. You speak Turkish from a root meaning red. I wonder how red relates to that shit. Thanks for the likes, baby. We are multidimensional beings having a human experience. All right, you didn't learn that from your youth pastor. Where did you learn that from? Weapon weapon is Ed's long. Weaponized the slong. Weaponized the slong. What's up, man? Um, yeah, that's a cool story. Tell us how much. That sounds like Scientology, doesn't it? Where the Thetans are having a human experience, and but I guess we just get another human host, right? Until you've gone clear, and then you can go back to being a Thetan. Um, the dimensional beings that maybe we go on to another dimension after this, and we will remember this one. Funny how none of us remember the one before it. Does the Bible say abortion is okay? I don't know if it says it's okay, but it describes abortion, right? It describes, at least somewhere, it describes how to how to how to give one or how to get one. I don't know. I'm not sure. Um, but what's a miscarriage if it's not God aborting a fetus for entertainment purposes only? What is Mountain Laurel? Oh yeah, psychics for entertainment purposes only. This is what I'm getting at. My ex-wife is an atheist, but she believes what psychics tell her. Hosea 13:16, abortion is a punishment. Thank you, Kevin. There's one right there. Yeah. Oh, it gives a recipe. That's right, for you drink, right, and then if the baby is from your lover, not your husband, right, it's a way to root out adultery, right? If you take the drink and your baby is aborted, then it's because it wasn't righteous. It was a bastard conceived in sin out of wedlock. No other country ever became so religious to agnostic in one decade like Ireland. Yes, I hear Ireland's really gone secular, hasn't it? They're really giving up the Catholic Church. They're sick of finding babies in wells. Yeah, good for Ireland, man. That's fucking great. I wish I knew more about that, but I constantly hear from people that Ireland is becoming really, really. They're winging away from the old Catholic Church, man, and more power to them. Watch, Ireland will end up ruling the fucking world if they can actually like root out the disgusting Catholic Church. That's really, Ireland for so long was identified with the Catholic Church, uh, so much so that they made war on the Protestant North. I mean, give me a break. Did I see the movie The Master? No, what's The Master? Did I see that? I don't think so. What's going on? It's all about humans knowing about death and making up stories to make you feel better about it. Yeah, that's pretty much true. That and trying to figure out, if the sun was going to come back to make the crops grow next year, and trying to figure out who they needed to thank and worship properly, if not the sun himself, to make sure that that happened when they didn't really understand the nature of the universe and the solar system. Um, Philip Seymour. Oh, The Master is a L. Ron Hubbard story with Philip Seymour Hoffman, another R.I.P. Philip Seymour Hoffman, great actor. Um, am I Russian? Do I seem Russian to you, my friend? I am not Russian. I do a Russian accent when I need to. It's really one of the easier ones, and I have one of the limericks. Sooner or later, will probably be done by a Russian named Boris Clitoris, my Russian lyricist. How's your week going? Yeah, not bad, my friend. It's going. Sun worship coming in December. Yeah, it's coming up. Do you watch Doctor Who? I have not. I've never been a Who head. Uh, yeah, a little bit cheesy for me. And there's a lot of people who loved it. I was during the time of my life when I would have watched it. It was during the Tom Baker era, and the few times that I liked that I started looking at it, I was just like the effects were so cheesy and so shitty. I could not get into it. I know a lot of people love Doctor Who, and right, she's a woman now. The new Who, right? I have a passing interest in noticing what's going on, but literally never was a Who guy. You were oddly obsessed with Philip Seymour Hoffman. His performance in another one of my favorite movies, Boogie Nights. If you don't think Boogie Nights is a great movie, I got nothing for you, man. That movie is fucking fantastic from beginning to end, filled with ridiculously great performances and none better than his. His performance as the gay guy who's in love with Wahlberg's character that has a hard time expressing it, and is just kind of, and maybe one of his first roles. I think he was in the stupid Al Pacino thing where he was blind. This in the school, what was that called? Scent of a Woman. What a piece of shit that movie was, and he got an Oscar for that. I watched that. Finally watched it years later, and I'm like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. The buildup was contrived and awful. But yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman and Boogie Nights. If you haven't ever seen Boogie Nights, watch it. Uh, same with Buddha. What's this? What is the this emoji? What is that emoji? Aim with Buddha. I feel like it's an insult, an Italian insult. Hey, Bahangu. Not a who head, a Whovian. Thanks, man, for that. Are you a Whovian? See that? I am oddly happy that that I did not know that. Hubbard was cray cray, right? You know, he was like crazy before he was Scientology, man. He bombed. I don't know. You know about L. Ron Hubbard was in the Navy. He was a captain of a ship, and he bombed an island that had no business bombing. And then he dropped depth charges just to do it, and it like blew a bunch of shit up that he wasn't supposed. He was literally not dishonorably discharged. He was discharged, but not honorably, but not dishonorably. It's just like they got him out of there. He had to leave. Red Dragon PCH. What's that? Yeah, Down Under Deb. Thank you. Yeah. Boogie Nights is one of my favorite films. Awesome. Burt Reynolds. Awesome performance by Burt Reynolds. Resurrected his career, and he hated it. He was really upset that his agent got him into that movie. He was, he thought it was his image was more wholesome, I guess, than that was. And then, when he saw the movie, he didn't like it. And then all of a sudden, he was like getting these accolades, and he's like, "Oh, okay, maybe it wasn't so bad." Hello there. Yeah, I'm Moni Monze. Monet Manze. What's going on? First time I tried food with Himalayan salt. It's delicious. It's all the rage. It tastes a lot different than regular salt. It's kind of pink and it's pretty, but um, I'm not sure it really. If you did a taste test and you close your eyes and you ground it up to the same texture, could you tell the difference? Maybe. I'm not saying you can't. Your mom used to explain Burt Reynolds to you. She had a thing. Burt Reynolds, man, it wasn't any hotter in the '70s than Burt Reynolds. Boy, let me tell you what. I rewatched Smokey and the Bandit, which was kind of disappointing to watch that. Who else calling me in the night like this? Because that's an iconic film, right? The Trans Am, and there's a scene with him wearing these tight jeans that accentuate all of his bulges, shall we say, that you cannot even believe they put it in the movie. And then he's going to cry years later about being in Boogie Nights. That's all he was sex appeal back in the day. Burt guest starred in Fresh Prince, did he? Well, he had that show, Evening Shade, right? He ended up being on TV, like a lot of actors. And I never watched Evening Shade very much. But so he probably got into TV around that time. That it would have been, Fresh Prince. He would have been like in his contract. You got a guest star. You're working for Sony Studios here, and you're doing Evening Shade. So it's in your contract. You got to do 2 guest shots. That happens in TV. It used to for actors. They like have to sign it, unless they were really powerful. They'd have to sign a contract that forced them to be in a crossover. No, I was never, again in the '90s. That's I just no Fresh Prince of Bel Air. No. I was too old. I was past the time when I would have enjoyed anything like that. Um, sitcoms, they need to be edgy for me. The sitcoms need to really be new. Otherwise, a formulaic sitcom makes me want to kill myself. That's brutal. My handle was Little Fizzle. Okay. You guys getting laggy? That's too bad. We're almost out of time anyway. It's getting my connection says good. I'm not seeing any problems on my end. Yeah, Hubbard started the Dianetics after he failed in the Army or the Navy, I should say. And Dianetics was written as a self-help book. and has failed miserably. He lost a bunch of money on it, and then he respun it as religion, and it took off. So go figure. If cults, you can get rich off a cult, but try to write a book for just plain old self help. Pink Himalayan salt recently tested contains toxic heavy metals. Look into it. Hey man, maybe I won't get me some Himalayan pink salt then. If that's, I will look into that. But not, it's not that I'm not trendy like that, so I don't have some good old sea salt is fine for me. I don't have any inclination to like really go out of my way to get Himalayan pink salt. I've had it because people have had it when they cook and given it to me. Have you drank ayahuasca? I've never had ayahuasca. Is it good, man? I'm not against it. Prefer a good old hit of acid myself. Recalled. I was wondering what T called meant. Dr. Inoculator. 69. Here's one for you. My girlfriend, it's speaking of 69. My girlfriend, not a big sports person, likes the Bucks. She's from Milwaukee. The Bucks won the championship. She knows a little bit about basketball, but the other sports, like literally, I've never seen anybody who knows less about baseball and the rules than her. So the other day, I'm like, just for a lark, I'm like, hey, can you even name any other football teams besides the Packers? And she goes, I know the Bears, and I know the Cowboys, and the 69ers, is it? The 69ers, man. Now, there's a football team you want to watch if you haven't seen them. Seen the joke about the Himalayan salt? They say it's a million years old, but best before 2030. That's pretty good. Yeah, I tried mushrooms, but they didn't work for me for a long time until I got some good ones, and then I got really high on mushrooms one time. Me and the ex took mushrooms and went to a resort and took mushrooms before dinner, and we sat in the stupid dinner with like four other couples at this like little bougie little resort in Illinois, and we giggled like fucking idiots, man. I felt so bad. I could not stop giggling. We were just looking at each other giggling, and like these other like straight ass, straight arrow, straight edge couples were trying to like enjoy their dinner, and I had tears coming down my eyes, and there was nothing funny. We were just like on mushrooms hard. Um, so yeah, I've had some good trips on mushrooms, but also I've had like I've eaten mushrooms, and I'm like I have a high tolerance for that shit, and yeah, I've taken mushrooms and just like not had a real trip. Maybe the curtains moved a little bit, but you can't miss if you have some clean acid that where it came from and you trust the source. Then nothing better than a good hit of clean acid. I am so over Washington and Snyder. Oh, we're talking uh, football. We're talking football. I didn't even know that those assholes didn't give their team a name, right? They don't call them the Redskins anymore because people are getting politically correct with those things, um, and they just call it the Washington Football Team. That's bizarre. Thanks, Doctor Inoculator. Um, yeah, I don't. I like football. I like to have it on in the background. It's just comforting. I think it's just because I grew up with it. On Sunday, if there's not football on in the background, even if I'm not watching it, I don't feel right if I'm around the house. And and it's Sunday, I'll just turn it on. The great thing about football is you can watch anybody play, right? You don't need to like baseball. You need to have a you need to be a fan of the team to get into baseball, or otherwise I get why people think it's boring and slow. But growing up a Red Sox guy, I had plenty of drama uh, as a baseball fan, and so it was easy for me to get into baseball and love it. But football, American football, we're talking about. What should we rename it? Because it is soccer is the real football. What should we rename American football? Let's come up with a better name. Um, Touch crotch, maybe. Pig pile on dudes. Um, Football's so gay. The one thing I have that I never liked about George Carlin was he does that bit about how football is manly and baseball is gay, and it's like he makes like in baseball you run home, in football you take over the other guy's territory. It's like there's nothing gayer than football. Nothing is gayer than football if you look at it. It's a bunch of guys piling on each other. The quarterback literally puts his hand in the dude's box. They have tight ends and wide receivers. I never understood that bit by Carlin that where he makes fun of baseball being gay compared to football. It doesn't make any sense at all. Football pants are tighter than baseball pants. No point in watching baseball. I miss the day when like all the baseball players had their legs covered all the way down to the ground now. Man, I miss when baseball wore the high stirrup socks and they had like knickers length pants, right? Those are baseball pants, man. These pants now, these uniform pants that just look baggy and they go all the way down to the dude's heels, man. I don't get that. I think people don't think it's cool. The younger generations don't think it's cool the way the old ones look, so not very many guys do that anymore. Um, I can't play football, man. My junk gonna show. uh, Baseball. You say, yeah, that Carlin bit always missed me. I don't understand it. If you objectively, if you can't make a better joke about football, like I just did being gay, then you're missing the whole point. But even George Carlin had a couple of whiffs out there. But I think a lot of people thought it was funny. It's just not me. I feel the same about hockey on Saturday after evening. Got to have it in the background. Yeah, see, it's a comfort thing, right? Hockey's fun to watch live. I'm watching it on TV. Yeah, I don't really get the. You can barely see it. But live hockey is awesome to watch. I heard of those lollipop wings, or what you call it, lollipop shaped chicken legs. Lollipop shaped chicken legs. What does that mean? Yeah, Monet Manze. I don't know what you're getting at. I heard of those lollipop wings, or what you call it, lollipop chicken shaped chicken legs. Oh, you're a Ravens fan now because you're sick of Washington? Yeah, Ravens always have a good team, don't they? Um, I'm a Patriots guy, so can't love the Ravens very much. They were always uh, a stumbling point, a stumbling block, always a tough playoff out for the Patriots in the Tom Brady era. Yeah, R.I.P. George Carlin was great. It's too bad. Yeah, Ravens always got that good defense. When they had murdering Ray Lewis on the team. Lived in Canada for a long time. They have universal health care. I miss that. Yeah, I bet you do. Australian Rugby League is next level. You like Australian rugby? Not Australian football? There's different, right? Australian rules football different than rugby. Because I'll be thinking of my girlfriend all the time while playing. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, Carla, that's all right. No, he's still the goat. I'm with you. Baseball players are cuter. Yeah, I think so. I got to agree with that. Uh, you loving you're loving football more and more. That's good. Uh, Tucker is the goat. Who's Tucker? Thoughts on SpongeBob? SpongeBob, the second or third greatest cartoon character that's ever been invented. Please, you got Bugs Bunny, you got Homer Simpson, you got SpongeBob, and after that, you can debate. But SpongeBob is fucking genius, man. Our culture is without Chappelle and Burt are great, but not like Carly. I just watched Chappelle's latest special. It's pretty funny. Dave Chappelle's funny. I like Dave Chappelle. Lacrosse is a rough sport. Yeah, lacrosse is tough, man. Nothing like getting whacked. You get whacked with that ball, you know it. Woo! Tom Brady, he could play if as long as he's got a line. The other thing about Tom Brady, as long as he's got a line around him, he could play till he's 50. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And he's wacky. He's got a lot of woo going on with his health regimen, but it sure as fuck works. All these other people just like gone. Peyton Manning gone out of the league. Drew Brees gone out of the league. Aaron Rodgers probably be gone out of the league before Tom Brady's done. Now he's got 7 Super Bowls. Now it's crazy. Talk about the goat. I love him or hate him. Um, there's a cute football player. This guy's a model, besides everything else. But um, yeah, I don't. I get it. If people hate Tom Brady, I totally get it. I can see that. But you can't argue with 7 Super Bowls and probably not done. Probably not done. The Tampa Bay is fucking great. They destroyed They destroyed the Bears last weekend. They don't have Gronkowski playing right now. Yeah, Cartman's right up there. Rick and Morty, are right up there in my book. But yeah, SpongeBob. Of course, I remember Daffy Duck. I'm old. I remember the Looney Tunes. Daffy Duck. If you watch like the really early Looney Tunes, Daffy Duck is Daffy. It's a completely different character than the '50s ones. When he was first invented, he like actually like bounced around on himself in black and white in the different shape, a little bit shorter and smaller, and not the just the Daffy Duck that's just kind of Bugs Bunny's nemesis or um, Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck is right. Doesn't he talk like that? What was his thing? They always said, "You're despicable," right? And Daffy Duck, "You're despicable." I'm not up to season 5 on Rick and Morty. I got to get back to it and get caught up. Yeah, Mahomes is a cutie. There's no doubt. There's some good looking football players, but the linemen are they have to be too big to be really terribly cute, and they're like sumo wrestlers. A lot of those guys, even though they're great athletes, most of them. Um, do I like Wong Kar-wai's films? Why do I? What are his films? I feel like I should know that. HR Puff and stuff. What? That's taking people back. Yeah, there's never been cartoons painted better than Looney Tunes. Never. And those cartoonists were all gay. And the directors, Chuck Jones and Fritz Frelling and all the people that made those. If you look for gay references in those cartoons, they're I mean, Bugs Bunny half the time acts like a gay character, but there's other stuff that I've seen that would curl your hair. That once you see it, you know that they put that in there as a subliminal reference. I did like Loki. I liked all the. So far, I have not. I don't think Marvel has missed on any of those TV shows. I loved um, WandaVision. I loved Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I loved Loki. They were all really good. Mortimer the Mouse was too Jewish of a name, which is why Mickey was born. Yeah, well, we know Walt Disney. Talk about white supremacist. What if my hair is already curled? It'll straighten it, my friend. The one thing that comes to mind, and then I'll get off. I'll tell you this: a cartoon I saw was a coyote, the one where the sheepdog and Sam, right? Sam and Fred, or whatever. The sheepdog and the coyote are, or a wolf, maybe it is, right? And there's a few of those cartoons, and the sheepdog looks like he's not paying attention, and the coyote's always sneaking up to grab a sheep, and then like the sheep unzips and it's the sheepdog inside, and the sheepdog is huge, and he takes bam, he smashes him. I saw one of these cartoons, and the bit was that the coyote grabbed a giant rubber band, put it between two trees, and put two boulders in the slingshot part. Okay, two boulders, not one, but two big boulders in it, and pulled it back. Let the boulders go. The boulders went through the two trees that the rubber band is on, right? And they hit another tree. The two boulders hit the middle of a tree and blasted through and took out a patch of the tree with it. So now sailing through the air is two balls and a trunk of tree. And it didn't, like you would expect if you're going to make it, like cartoons are logical, right? If you were going to make a cartoon like that and two balls were going to fly at the trunk of a tree and they were going to smash a chunk out of the trunk of the tree, you would think logically that those two balls would be in the middle of the piece of trunk that was ripped out of the tree. Okay. They weren't. And this is all happening fast. So if you're watching it and you're not thinking about the perverted mind that I have, they weren't. The chunk of tree that they pulled out was above the two balls. So you had two balls at the bottom of a chunk of tree flying through the air. Literally, there's a flying penis and balls flying through the air, and it slams into it ends up whatever coming back, and of course hitting the guy that started it. The coyote only ends up getting hammered by his own trap. So he gets hammered by this giant dick and balls against a cliff, right? And he totally gets smashed, and you can see it. It's like when it smashes him against the cliff, it stays there for a second. There's this big log with two balls at the bottom of it, not in the middle. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, this is the fucking gayest reference thing I've ever seen on a cartoon because it was more involved than this. There was dialogue involved in it. There was two dick and balls. One was little, and one was big. He first got hit with the first dick and balls, then he got hit with the second dick and balls, and then they fall away, and he comes out, and of course he's not dead. He comes out, he's got two black eyes, and he's like, well, um, he makes some reference about jobs, about oh, the sheepdog comes up to him and puts there, ah, it was a rough day, Sam. You take you take tomorrow off. I'll handle both jobs. And it was just it was too much. The reference was too obvious. And there's other ones too. There was there's one with a Texan, and he's got a big tall 10-gallon hat, and the top of the hat is oversized, and then it comes out at the top like a bulbous. Like if you had a Stetson that had a you know, a normal size Stetson, and the top of it was bigger than the shafts part. This is what this was, but it was oversized, and the character was like a little bitty tiny guy, and his hat was flopping around on top of his head, so that if you looked at all you looked at was the top of his hat like that, like I'm trying to do for you, you know, and all you could see, all you had to do was like, and you looked at literally the top of his hat was a rubbery, looked like the drawing on a box of condoms of a cartoon penis that shows you how to put the condom on if you ever looked at the directions. And all you had to do was not look at the bottom of the guy's hat or his face and look at the top of it, and it was literally a phallic symbol waving around the top of the guy's head. um, anyway, that's weird talk, but yeah, it's not really in doubt. If you look at those old Bugs Bunny cartoons and Looney Tunes cartoons, look for the gay references in them. You will see what I'm talking about. Am I hopeful for the future? I am. I'm a an optimist. That's the word I'm looking for. I have a word. Thank you. Astonishing Do Skull. I didn't look at the Q and A's here now, so I'm going through them. Hello, brother. How are you? Did you manage to join? Oh no, F Dawa. We talked about that already. Please send me one ahead of time, and I will do it. Favorite argument to use against Chris. We talked about that. I'm 20 miles northeast of Charlotte, Canapolis. All right, progressive person from PA. I'll look for you when I head down there. And that's all I got on there. Thank you so much. It's 9 p.m. I'm gonna blast off and eat. I'm getting hungry. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate you all being here. Love you so much. I would climb through the camera and make love to all of you one by one if I could, but you know I can't. And nobody on YouTube this week. No surprise. But yes, I do support the LGBTQ. Thank you. Somebody asks me that every week. Of course I do. I love my gay friends. Love them all. Thanks. Yeah, I bought this at the local Kmart before they went out of business. uh, bye bye, everybody. Take it easy, and I will see you on Sunday from North Carolina. Take care of yourselves.